Hey folks, how you doing? Gary, GS Pinto here. And I want to clear up a few things, okay? Misconceptions that keep coming through on posts about direct democracy from people who have their individual issues that impact their life. Now, we get it. Mine happens to be the VA. I'm a retired soldier, wounded warrior, and I've been retired for 5 years, and the VA is still screwing up my pay. It's just an ongoing issue with the lack of concern on the VA's part. I got other issues besides that too with government, but that's my big one right now because it feeds my family. I got 4 kids. So what I want to explain to you is that direct democracy and what we want to do is not going to replace your issue, take away from your issue in any way, shape, or form. We want to be the vehicle that helps drive your issue right up to the front doors of the White House. We can do that if we stick together. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking my issue with the VA, and I'm kind of like setting it aside for a little bit. Now I'm putting it on the back burner, but it's in the trunk of my vehicle. Okay, my vehicle is direct democracy, and I'm gonna drive my issue straight up. You can do the same thing. All right, whether it's healthcare, gun control, any kind of issue that you want. Look, we're not going to say your issue's wrong. We're not going to say our issue's better than your issue. It's not about that. There is nothing. Your issue is important to you. It's important to us. Okay. We want to help forward your issue. All right. So imagine if the March for Lives joined with the people who want better health care, the Black Lives Matter folks, anybody who wants to get the government's attention. All right, you can do it by yourself your whole life, and you'll just be ignored as nothing. You're just a small little part of the percentage of the public that means nothing to them, as long as they're getting their pockets lined. And I ain't talking about left, right, red, blue, Democrats, Republicans. I don't care about that crap. Direct democracy replaces all that. There are no parties, so there can't be any corruption on that level. No bipartisan BS locks up candidates for the Supreme Court, Secretary of State, people that are actually going to move our country forward, regardless of who they are. It doesn't matter. Okay, direct democracy gives the people the power to say, this is what I want. I'm going to vote for it. Everybody around me is going to vote for it too. We're going to vote to get it on a petition so that we can get it to a ballot, so that we can get in front of somebody who is responsible for putting the people's views into law and seeing to it that it happens. Get this, small groups are going to do nothing. Large groups are going to do everything. Come together under one roof. Do not abandon your principles or the issues that matter in your life. Help us bring those issues forward. Help us make the government stop saying, okay, yeah, well, write it up and we'll get back to you in a year. We're going to postpone this for a year because you didn't do this right. It's bureaucracy. It's red tape bullshit. All right. The bullshit has to stop. All right. And the only way the bullshit is going to stop is if America gets up off their collective asses, walks over to their computer, and joins a cause that's going to encompass everything into one big ball and roll it right down the hill, right through the Capitol building. We can do that. That's called government of the people, by the people, for the people. Hey, we're the people, okay? We're not getting listened to. The reason why we're not getting listened to is because we're not unified. We're not organized. They are. And they are organized in such a fashion where when we want to protest, they can just write up a law or make a law that just says, okay, well, you're not allowed to do this. Now, why? Well, because they don't like it. Why? Because it takes money out of their pocket. A direct democracy would actually remove the need for lobby groups, for representatives in general. The representatives, and I hate to use that word, the same word for two different contexts, because it actually is two different contexts. In direct democracy, the representative for your town, your state, your federal representative in government, they are all nothing but glorified office managers. It's going to be their job to take the people's wishes up through the chain, whatever we decide on, that's democratic and of the people for the people, to see to it that these get instituted in a timely fashion. Nobody will be there to say, oh, well, you know, you didn't write this sentence right. You didn't dot an I. You didn't cross a freaking T. So you're going to wait another month, 6 months, or whenever we come back into session. You know, that's bureaucratic bullshit. And we need to cut the bureaucratic bullshit. With direct democracy, the people get to vote on initiatives. They get referendums. They do recall votes. A recall vote is one of these glorified office managers who, oh, by the way, will get paid at the rate that the national average office manager gets. You'll be able to write a recall and say, this is what this guy did. This is what he did wrong. He violated his oath to be of the people for the people. He's no longer selfless in his service to the country. He is more self-serving. So we're making this recall vote to remove him from office. Oh, and if there is terms that these people get to serve, well, this recall will eliminate him immediately. You don't have to wait till the end of his term to get him out. So if y'all would read a little bit about direct democracy and the way that it functions, and look at Switzerland as an example. The Swiss government has it going on. Yeah, they're a homogeneous population. Okay, fine, but they're doing it. They're an example. Look at Greece. Greece just presented its president with a constitution to demand direct democracy and change the whole government. You're going to hear more about that because we're going to help them. So, if you just get the idea that we are not trying to replace your issue with our issue, we are trying to help you move your issue forward. But in order to do that, we all need to be one voice together as Americans fighting for our government and government reform. That's pretty much all I got to say. If you got any questions, post them. We'll be happy to answer them. We know that this isn't the silver bullet. We know that. Okay? We know it has flaws. Every program, every idea starts with something that has flaws, and then the flaws are discussed and fixed. And then the program is implemented. Then there will be more flaws, and it will be constantly a living document that gets improved and improved. The minority will not be shut out by the popular vote every time just because they're a minority. That's not the way direct democracy works. Everybody will have their say in government. Everybody will have decisions on how the federal government is spending your money. It will be voted on. There will be town halls. We can lay out the whole plan for you in writing on these websites and on these pages and in these groups. But people see the first few words and they say, oh, screw that. That's not what I'm about. That's not what I'm for. Read it. Okay? Give it a chance. Have an open mind. Be adult. Be mature about it. Consider it. Then if you have an issue about it, do the right thing. Bring the issue up and say, what about this? You know, we are more than willing to say, oh yeah, okay, you got a point. That's a problem. You know, we need to address that. So let's work on that together. You know, let's put it out there to the people and say, hey, this is a flaw. Okay. We need your opinions on what would be a good idea to fix it. You know what that is? That's kind of direct democracy in action, folks. You're getting input as to what happens with your money. You're getting input on how to protect your kids in schools. You should not have to worry that your child may not come back from school. You should be very, very confident that you can send your child to a safe place to get an education. It's ridiculous that we can't do that today. It's ridiculous that everybody is thinking of, oh, I need to invent a system where everybody can be homeschooled. That's not going to work either. What about the two-parent working household? So we talk about that. We figure it out. Hey, maybe one parent will host school in their house while the other parents work. And then one day the next parent will host in their house. There's going to be issues with that too. Shitload of background checks that are going to have to be taken there. Or you feel safe sending your kid to somebody else's house, and leaving them there for the day. We don't know. We need to work it out, but we need to do it together as one group, because then the government will listen to us. If you did not see the government shaking in their boots when those kids marched on Washington, then you missed something. If they can do it, we can do it. As a matter of fact, it's our responsibility to do it. We shouldn't be sending our kids to fight our battles. So you people that are my age, you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, get up off your asses, go to your computer, and do something about it. You don't even have to leave the comfort of your own living room. And now, if you can't handle that, if you can't do that, you're going to be the one. You're going to be the minority who has to go with what the people vote. You will have had no say in it. I hope that I can kind of clarify a little bit to you about what we want to do and what our opinions are. We're open-minded people. We listen. We care. We want to make it better, but we need your help. That's my plea to you. Thank you for listening.